Morning, Dan. Cole. Thanks for having another St. Augustine alum on today.
Hey, all right. We're all about the prep. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk real quick about our cover story from this latest edition of Glory Days magazine, and a young man named Stanley Adams has really kind of captured the hearts and minds of the Gami swimming program, and even people that aren't associated with that. We've had a great response so far, particularly from his mom. She texted me a picture of him holding up the magazine and said he was completely thrilled. So talk about this young man and the kind of impact he's had on your swim program.
Yeah, it's been a really fun year. Just this week we had our last dual meet, which was the last meet for the boys. And I was supposed to get another senior in for his first meet, and he couldn't make it because he was sick. And I said, well, looks like Stan's swimming another relay. And so he said, hey, man, I know you weren't supposed to swim today. You want to swim this relay? And he said, I'm in. Let's go. And so we got another relay out of him in Atlantic City. And at this race, he made it all the way to the wall and back. He didn't in Ocean City. So he actually he swam a lot quicker the second time around, which was awesome. And it was senior night for me, and luckily for us, we were able to talk about him on the microphone at Atlantic City High School, and Coach Demarest was nice enough to let us use their house for our seniors. And just the effect of talking about him in front of everybody and just in front of these great swimmers that I have, these really talented guys, the attention goes to Stan, thanks to just his wonderful attitude, his wonderful smile, and everything he's given to our team. For us, it does not matter what the score is. It doesn't matter what the times are. The perspective of the team has completely changed, and it's been able to just be this wonderful group of kids that really, really love each other. And I got to lead it along the way in my first year with Gami. It's been a real joy.
If you're not familiar with the story out there, fans listening, Stanley Adams, a young man who has autism, and about a year ago couldn't even swim. I mean, we were talking with Sari Carroll over there at Brigantine Aquatic Center, who's running a program for kids with autism and other disabilities to get them really to be safe in the water, to get them to learn how to swim so they can be safe, out at the beach and things like that. And a year ago at this time, he was in about 6 flotation devices, Sari was telling me, and really was, talking to his mom, she said he wanted to quit after 2 weeks. He was not really confident that he could do swimming, and here he is a year later, and in that swim meet earlier this month at Ocean City, got his first chance to swim in a varsity meet. And talk about that night a little bit, Coach, and what an emotional thing. I mean, even the Ocean City kids were just completely thrilled. I know one of the uncles of one of the Ocean City kids said on Facebook how moved his nephew was about the whole event, and it was just one of those moments in high school sports that really shows you what high school sports is all about.
Right, and it was an exceptional moment for me to go over to the Ocean City, Coach Kaiser and the rest of the Ocean City coaches, and say, hey, I've got this young man who's going to be swimming this meet today, just so you guys know. And they responded by having all of their swimmers just express the best sportsmanship ever. And I was crouched down alongside of the pool, real close to Stanley. I had made sure he had swam real close to Sari and Coach Bradley and myself. And I wish I almost would have stepped back, because once he had finished and I turned and just saw such an emotional crowd, from cheering to crying to clapping to laughing and just all of the coaches embraced him, and we're all in tears. And he turns to Sari, who taught him, and myself, and just, well, what are you guys upset about? And just that alone was it's the true Stan moment of,
why is everybody crying, right?
Yeah, why is everybody crying? It's just our pride for him. It knows no bounds, and for himself, he's, in spite of the last dual meet being done on his Monday, Wednesday, Fridays when he's with us, he's back in the water yesterday working hard. And luckily, I'm glad you brought up the autistic program and all the special ed swimming programs over at Brigantine Aquatic Center that Sari Carroll's running. She's in the process now of starting a Special Olympic squad over there. And if you have an autistic kid out there, if you're listening and you've connected with this story, you tuned in to listen to it, go down to Brigantine Aquatic Center, sign up. It's federal money. Your kid can swim for free. Sari's been nice enough to take it along. My cousin, Bryn Collins, now going to be swimming with her as well at a young age. And hopefully, if you can get your kid in the water who might not, you don't think they can do a sport, by the time they're in high school, it's an inclusive sport. I don't care who you are, what abilities you have cognitively or physically. This sport, they find a way to get you in. You look at what Lower Cape May Regional is doing down there with their 25 yards or 25 meter swim that they do at the break each meet, and the kids, whether no matter who the kid is, whether it's a kid that's swimming in college next year or the lowest kid on the team, they embrace it and they love it. It's been really great.
Well, Coach, real quick story. I got an email today, 5 a.m. I'm checking my email before coming into the radio station, and a great email. I'll actually forward that to you. A woman from Philadelphia had come in from out of town. I guess she was staying at the casinos or something like that. Happened to pick up the magazine and said she couldn't even make it past the first page of that article before she started welling up with tears. So it's cool to see that even people from out of the area have been impacted by this story. And it's kind of like a lot of stories that we cover, myself at Glory Days, the press, the current. And it seems like this day and age, there's just so much more inclusiveness for kids who aren't, the typical varsity athlete who may suffer from some challenges, but so much more inclusiveness with this generation of kids. When I was in high school back in the 80s, you wouldn't even think of having a kid with Down syndrome or autism even be anywhere near a high school program.
Right, and it all comes down to the effects of what education has done. And I'm a teacher first, I'm a coach second, and I teach special education and the inclusion programs in a lot of schools. And the goals of them is to give equal education to all kids. And what I've told other educators has always been the effect I've seen is not necessarily on them, but on the rest of schools, the rest of kids that understand where kids are coming from. If you looked at education about 10 to 15 years ago, when you started a little bit more fluidity and streaming some special education students into regular classrooms, a lot of parents were upset and a lot of kids were like, why is this kid in my class? And now it's done with a great embrace from our youth. As a coach and an educator, it always bothers people like myself when there's a lot of trash talked on the current generation. The kids are lazy, or the kids are this and the kids are that. The kids I have are wonderfully accepting, and they're awesome to kids like Stan and so many other kids that join their little swim team or their classroom. And it really is a education system in America today, which takes a lot of flack, and it's not going to get flack from me ever, because this is just a product of what so many have done, and we're all just so proud of kids like Stan, and it's awesome to get. And I thank you guys so much for promoting it and getting the story out there for people to get to read it and understand it and appreciate it. It's just wonderful.
One of the backstories, I think, Coach, and we're talking with Coach Jim Winkler of Gami Swimming, and Coach, one of the backstories that I dived into a little bit in that story was the moment and what it meant for Stanley's mom and dad and the rest of the family. I mean, when you think about being a parent of a high school athlete, so many of these parents, their kids are stars. They're used to their kids being great athletes from the time they're 5 years old. So maybe they take for granted a little bit what it means to be on a varsity team. But this is probably the one moment that this family had to be able to say, hey, my kid's a varsity athlete. And that's a big thing for a family, of a young man with autism who never thought their kid would even be on a team or be able to even be close to a high school varsity team.
Right, and you could probably talk to all your coaches and all your athletes. Most of them are probably going to mention one or two moments that happened. And that's what high school sports is about. It's about moments that you'll remember. And I've got kids that are, I got a girl that came in second out of 150 swimmers at the Hackney meet. But I guarantee you she's going to remember Stanley swimming as vividly as any swim she's ever had. Because high school sports is about wonderful moments that you remember and you take with you for the rest of your life. And that's a moment that I'll always carry with me. And I'm glad that Stan's wonderful family and his teachers that were there, a lot of his former educators came out to see him. And just the amount of thank yous I received that I was able to just spell off. I'm like, hey, you don't have to thank me. Just it's a wonderful kid, and we can all just appreciate it together.
Coach, real quick before we let you go, what has his presence and his attitude done for the rest of the team? I mean, you're talking about kids who are real high level academically and athletically, and to be able to, spend a season with a young man like this is, I think, like you said, going to have a huge impact on them as they go forward and even into college and that kind of thing in terms of being inclusive and being open to other experiences.
Right. Swimming, one of the biggest challenges with swimming, as well as sports like track and a lot of other, where you're really chasing your own time. And if to focus in, you can only race yourself. You can't slow the other person down. That's not the way the sport works. So it's a little difficult sometimes to get kids to embrace the team atmosphere. And Stan really helped my team do that, as well as just the group of kids that they are in general. I told them from the start, one of the main things I wanted the team to focus on from the start was we are a team. And at the Hackney meet, it's all girls. I had 12 boys cheer on the girls on their Saturday afternoon. And I'm sure I'm going to have a heck of a crowd on Tuesday when my girls swim Our Lady Mercy Academy in Brigantine. And one of my boys has volunteered to take his trumpet and play the national anthem. My junior captain, Stephen Barnard. And my captains, Angela Zhang and Yandy Clark and Aaron Murphy and Justin Yin and Tyler Dorsett, they come to me right away. What's Stan? Is he swimming today? What's happening? And these are all kids that will and can swim later in life and are known around the state as excellent swimmers. And their concern is team first, and we'll worry about our time second. And for the amount of talent that they have in and out of the pool, it's exceptional, and it's done great things for my team.
Coach, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes. I have a feeling this story is going to get a lot of traction and going to keep going for a few weeks on social media and on our website and all that kind of stuff. So it's really a great pleasure to be able to tell that story. And thank you and your kids for being available for reporters like myself and Bill Laconey over to Current to be able to tell the story and get it out there to people.
All right. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate everything.
Have a great weekend, man.
You too, guys. Go Birds.
That was Jim Winkler, head coach of Gami Swimming. We'll get that story up on our website.